Hello, good afternoon. This is the Midday News. The news is live on Joy 99.7 in Accra, Love 99.5 in Kumasi. Affiliates across Ghana's 16 regions, including Jubilee Radio Keta, Sun City Radio Keta, Saboba FM Saboba, and A1 Radio Bolgatanga. We are live on Twitter Spaces, Facebook live stream, and my Joy Online interactive app. The Midday News is sponsored by Duraplast Ghana Limited, producers of quality PVC pipes and water tank. Where Duraplast goes, water flows. Coming up, President Akufo-Addo's comments espousing integrity of embattled former sanitation minister ahead of a formal probe into millions of cedis and dollars stolen from her residence, described as prejudicial.
The prejudicial nature of that kind of thing is that you prepare the mind of the public in such a way that there's going to be only one conclusion wherever goes on.
As a president who is constantly bombarded about his inertia in addressing such issues, this has been a wonderful opportunity to distance himself.
The embattled Minister Cecilia Dapa has just been appointed to the NPP Elections Committee. Meanwhile, Joy News learns the Office of the Special Prosecutor has taken interest in the matter with over 200 petitions already filed.
Are you reasonably able to explain this wealth, its source, as matched against your lawful income? That is what the standard that we should apply.
We have exclusive details and give you a blow-by-blow account of the many changes the police statement on the stolen money went through before reaching the courts. Also in this package, Asawasi police station vandalized by irate youth over death of a suspect.
When you enter the police station, you can see there's a lot of damages, destroying properties in the police station, destroying the meter and other stuff. So the reason is that they are accusing the police that the police have killed their friend.
We'll be live in the community, and government urged to review recently introduced tax measures and gold for oil policy as Finance Minister prepares to present mid-year budget review in barely 24 hours.
Tax handles bundled together under the IMF-supported program, it will just burden the faithful few.
But we're hoping that the budget review, would actually give us clarity and detail on how we go from here.
And in sports,
Stephen Appiah calls for patience with Chris Hughton as pressure mounts on the Black Stars boss. Plus, PSG have received a world record bid for Kylian Mbappe.
And later,
look into my eyes, what do you see? I'm not talking about love, 'cause I see.
after about 12 weeks of competition filled with glitz and glamour, Tragan emerged victorious in Joy Prime's maiden Cues and Lyrics music show.
To be very honest with you, this is one of the best written songs I've ever heard.
We have details of these and more. Thanks for choosing us. Joy News, independent, fearless, and credible. I'm Bernice, Abu-Baidoo Lansah. Thanks for your company. The details now. Prejudicial and unfortunate. That's the reaction of some legal practitioners and governance experts to President Akufo-Addo's comments espousing the integrity of embattled former water sanitation minister Cecilia Dapa. Now, this is ahead of a formal probe into millions stolen from her residence. Madam Cecilia Dapa announced her resignation on Saturday, July 22, 2023. It followed revelations that her house helps had allegedly stolen substantial amounts of foreign and local currencies from her residence in Accra. The incident sent shockwaves through the nation, leaving citizens astounded by the audacious theft. Now, she becomes the third appointee of President Akufo-Addo to leave office amid allegations of corruption and calls for a probe. There's more in the following report.
Those who are coming to this administration thinking that it's an avenue for making a lot of money are going to be disappointed.
President Akufo-Addo won his first presidential election in 2016 with a pledge to protect the public purse. The government has been confronted with various allegations of corruption. In April 2019, the presidency accepted the resignation of Minister of State Roxanne Bukari. This came in the wake of the then minister being heard in a leaked tape, allegedly trying to suppress the publication of a story through an offer of a bribe to a journalist. In November 2022, President Akufo-Addo terminated the appointment of Charles Edubuahi as Minister of State at the Finance Ministry. This was after he was captured on tape allegedly soliciting bribes for top government officials. The latest incident to engage the attention of anti-graft campaigners is the theft of $1 million on the residence of Cecilia Abna-Dapaah, sparking spirited discussion on how she could have so much cash at home. She has since resigned. The Ghana Integrity Initiative's Maria Ada believes the president must show commitment and redeem his acquired image as one who clears appointees of wrongdoing.
It is not enough for the president to continue to tell us that state institutions are acting, while behind the scene, strings are being pulled to frustrate processes from occurring. We believe that for the president to redeem his image and then also take off that mantra that has been applied to him for some time now, that he is a clearing agent, we believe this is a time for him to act.
The president has, however, in a letter to the former minister, expressed optimism that her integrity while in office will be established.
That was a News Desk report, and just like you heard, President Akufo-Addo, in accepting Madame Dapaah's resignation, said, and I quote, "I am confident like you that at the end of the day, your integrity whilst in office will be fully established," unquote. This statement for some is prejudicial. Listen to private legal practitioner Kweku Pencil and governance expert Professor Bafo Ajimandria.
I think it's highly prejudicial, and it's not proper for the president to express that confidence. If you have confidence, fair enough. That's the main reason why you appointed her in the first place. But in the current storm, with due respect, I'm not too sure that it's proper for the president, before even an investigation begins, to express your confidence at this stage and hope and give a kind of assurance that she will come out of it clean. The prejudicial nature of that kind of thing is that you prepare the mind of the public in such a way that there's going to be only one conclusion whatever goes on.
When I read the president's acceptance letter, I was a little bit taken aback. As a president who is constantly bombarded about his inertia in addressing such issues, this has been a wonderful opportunity to distance himself and not to conclude in his acceptance letter that he's sure at the end of it he will be exonerated. He's already making his conclusions, and I think that was completely premature. The president shouldn't have made that statement acceptance letter. In fact, I would have expected that she would have picked on Cecilia Dapaah's own statement in her resignation letter, pledging her cooperation with the investigative agencies.
You heard the legal practitioner Kweku Pencil and governance expert Professor Bafo Ajimandria. Well, political scientist with the University of Ghana, Dr. Asante, holds a contrary view. He sees nothing wrong with the president's statement.
I don't see anything wrong with what the president said. Are we saying that we're looking forward to hearing the president saying that, yes, I know they will find you guilty of all this, and at the end of the day, that will be the end of you? No. She's an appointee of the government, so the government rests in the hope that after everything, her record or her image will be intact. That is not to compromise whatever investigation that will come in. Once you give that exercise of investigation to well-meaning people who have integrity and all that, and they look at the facts before them, they'll come out with whatever prevails. So for me, it's an ordinary statement, but that is to be expected from a president who has appointed somebody as a minister. So that is not wrong at all.
Dr. Asante is a political scientist at the University of Ghana. Now, we are just learning the offices of the special prosecutor have been inundated with numerous reports and petitions urging the immediate investigation of the significant amount of money stolen from the home of the former sanitation minister, Cecilia Abna-Dapaah. Sources say prominent individuals have submitted over 200 reports expressing concerns over the source of the stolen funds, allegedly allegedly taken by 2 house helps of the former minister. Listen to Special Prosecutor Kisie Jabing when he was asked about how he will deal with such matters during his vetting.
What would be your proposal? If you want a revised or a new asset declaration regime, what should the Ghanaian public expect from you in order to deepen public officer accountability in our country? Thank you. Are you reasonably able to explain this wealth, its source, as matched against your lawful income? That is what the standard that we should apply. And with that, and our attitude of filing these returns, enforcing the filing of these returns, should lead to a progressive outcome in this contest. Because then if you're unable to explain how you came about this wealth and the source is concealed, the source is shady, the source is converted, then clearly you would have questions to answer.
So that's Special Prosecutor Kisie Jabing responding to questions during his vetting in Parliament. Well, my colleague Elton Brobe joins me in studio for more. Exactly, Elton, tell us what the progress of work from the Office of the Special Prosecutor is, with specific reference to the reports they've received over this matter.
So, Bernice, what we are picking up is that they are in the process of making the initial, encounter with Madam Cecilia Dapa and to understand really what is going on. They, like the media, have been following up the news over the weekend. They got emails, and this morning when they got to the office, they were greeted with tons of, correspondence, letters, and documents. People asking that the special prosecutor probe into this matter. Now, what we are picking is that the special prosecutor over the weekend started some work on this matter. But as of today, they are in the process of establishing the initial contact with Madam Cecilia Dapa to start formal proceedings on this matter. And they are looking at it from the angle of the Declaration of Property and Income, where in the LI 2374 of the Special Prosecutor, it says that by notice as specified in Form 11A of the first schedule, request a suspect to make a declaration of the property and income of the suspect as specified. So based on this, this is the foundation upon which they are going into this matter.
John News Editor Elton Brobe there giving us details of work done by the Special Prosecutor's Office after over 200 reports or petitions were filed over the weekend. Now, the embattled former sanitation minister, in her 2 statements on the matter, questioned the media narrative on the stolen money and the exact amount of money involved. Head of our legal desk, Joseph Akable, joins me in studio for more. Joseph, first, tell us what Madame Cecilia Dapa's statements say about the amount involved.
I mean, the second one specifically gives more details. That part of the statement says the stories sought to suggest that I own various huge sums of foreign currencies and millions of Ghana cedis which have been stolen from my home. Whereas I can state emphatically that those figures do not represent correctly what my husband and I reported to the police. I am very much aware of the import of such stories around someone in my position.
And finally, before you go, Joseph, we understand the police statement went through some changes. What exactly happened?
And so we know that once the police received a complaint from the former minister and her husband, they proceeded to conduct investigations, arrested the accused persons, retrieved some money from them, and identified some of the things they had spent the money on. The police have so far filed 3 charge sheets in court. We have seen 2 of them, and the constant figure in those 2 charge sheets is the amount of $1 million and also that of 300,000 euros. It's important to state that there's one mistake that is also constant in the 2 documents that we have seen. It is with regards to the amount of 300,000 euros. Even though 300,000 euros is written in words, in terms of the figure in bracket, what is written is 300 million euros. That mistake is repeated in the second and third, but the words are constant, being the $1 million and also 300,000 euros as well. We also see some figures running to like $90,000 being the estimate worth of Kente, the suit at $3,000, but there are changes to the amounts that were given to some of the accused persons who have been charged with the offense of dishonestly received. But in terms of the highlighted figures that have dominated the publications, they remain constant.
Joseph Akable is head of our political desk. Let's now speak to Samuel Mbura, a member of our political desk, because he is at the NPP's headquarters right now. But Samuel, we are just learning that Madame Cecilia Dapa has been appointed to the elections committee of the NPP. When exactly did this happen?
Well, this was arrived at on Thursday after the National Council's meeting that spelled out the modalities. So she's among 9 others who would supervise the upcoming Superdelegate Congress and then the main election that will come on November. The committee is being chaired by Professor Mike Eronokwe, Abankwaya Boy is a member, Cecilia Abinadapa is also a member, Alexander Afenyo-Markin, a member. We have Professor Emmanuel Ofori, Philip Kwesi Nkrumah, Rita Talata Sobaire, Efua Jachiwa, a member, Evans Lemako, and William Yamwa as the secretary of the elections committee. At the moment, they are in an in-camera meeting for the inauguration. Afterwards, the balloting for positions of the aspirants will come up at 1 p.m.
That's Samuel Imbura of our political desk joining us live from the NPP's headquarters. This is your election headquarters, so stay with us for details on that. Away from that, some irate youth at Sakari Mampong in Kumasi have vandalized the Aswasi police station after the death of a suspect in police custody Sunday evening. The youth claimed 32-year-old Silaha Talifu, who was arrested in a police swoop in the area, was manhandled, leading to his death. Louver blades and benches at the station were destroyed by the youth who pelted stones and other materials at the station. And Aljima has more in this report.
Louver blades of windows and benches at the station were destroyed by the youth who pelted stones and other materials at the police station. The electricity meter at the station was also destroyed by the youth. Police officers at post had to run for cover. A police patrol team intervened to restrain the youth from further destruction at the police station. Assembly member for Aswasi West Electoral Area, Gideon Okine, spoke about the distraction.
The Aswasi police station is opposite my house, and I heard a lot of guys, a group of guys throwing stones. So I called the police patrol officer in Aswasi municipality or the airport commander to come here to make sure that things are calm here. When you enter the police station, you can see that a lot of damages, destroying properties in the police station, destroying the meter and other stuff. So the reason is that they are accusing the police that the police have killed their friend. But upon interrogating some of the police personnel here, they told me that it's not like that. To destroy roofing sheet, destroy the meter and everything in the police station. In fact.
For Joy News, Nanaya Ojima reporting.
Let's head to Aswasi now. Nanaya Ojima is there for us. Nanaya, what's the situation now as we speak?
So presently, the family of the deceased have been able to retrieve the body from the Konfanochi Teaching Hospital, preparing it for burial at the home of the deceased. It's a very solemn atmosphere. Many of the family and residents here are saddened by the situation. But some of the irate youth have been able to find them, and they've been speaking on the situation yesterday. According to them, they didn't deliberately go to the police station to cause distraction, but rather they had gone to the police station to demand that the police come back and pick the body of the deceased, because according to them, the young man was caught in the soup by the police, and the policeman handled him here at the Gombalai where he died. The policeman later went ahead and left his body here and went to back to their base. So they had gone there to demand that the police come back and pick the remains of the deceased. So they didn't go there deliberately to attack the police.
To find out if I will see where she lies. So when I came out, I didn't find him. And he told me, we are working here. Why he's not working with us? Then he just went out. Then he said, I should see if I will see him. And I checked, I didn't see him.
And so shockingly to your surprise, what did you see?
That moment, about 2-3 minutes, they called the Alaji and informed the Alaji that the boy, Shila, the police people have arrested the boy. And he said, we are all working here, but how come that they have arrested Shila? And the Alaji told me that, I should check where they say they have arrested Shila. So I just came out. When I came out, I just ran. When I came out, I said, and then I went, and they told me he's at the back there. I just went, and the boy was dead, lying down dead.
So you had Nanaya Ojima interacting with one member of the youth that attacked the Aswasi community in Kumasi. But we are just receiving breaking news from the Office of the Special Prosecutor. Elton Brobe is here with details.
And this is coming just in now at 11:55 on the 24th of July 2023. Cecilia Abnadapa, who resigned from the position of Minister of Sanitation and Water Resources on 22nd July 2023, was placed under arrest by the Office of the Special Prosecutor in respect of suspected corruption and corruption-related offences regarding large amounts of money and other valuable items reported stolen from a residence. Ms. Dapa is being questioned by the authorities, officers of the OSP, and this is signed by Kisia Jabin, Special Prosecutor, dated 24th of July 2023. So this is just coming in from the Special Prosecutor. And again, the correspondent says that Madam Abnadapa was placed under arrest by the Office of the Special Prosecutor in respect of suspected corruption and corruption-related offences regarding large amounts of money and other valuable items reported stolen from a residence. Mrs. Dapa is currently being questioned by the authorities of the Special Prosecutor, and this is signed by Kisia Jabem, Special Prosecutor, dated 24th July 2023.
So if you just joined us, that's breaking news from the Office of the Special Prosecutor, and it's that Mrs. Abnadapa, Cecilia Abnadapa, former Sanitation Minister who resigned over the weekend, has been placed under arrest, and she is assisting with investigations currently being questioned by authorities of the Special Prosecutor on the stolen monies from her residence. Do stay with us. We'll bring you more here on the Midday News. Let's do some other stories now. And government is being urged to take a second look at some tax measures introduced as part of the $3 billion IMF program. The mid-year budget review is set to come off in barely 24 hours. This is contrary to what was announced in Parliament last week when the business statement was read. The finance minister was originally expected in the House on Tuesday. There were changes made, and we were told he will come on Thursday to brief Parliament on changes made to the budget that took off prior to the IMF support program being secured. Now, this will now revert to the original plan tomorrow. Kweku Asante is our parliamentary correspondent, and he joins us with more. So, Kweku, we know the original Tuesday, July 25th, was supposed to be when the finance minister appears before Parliament to present the mid-year budget review. That was changed. Now we are back to the original plan. What exactly, resulted in this?
Yes, Bernice, we are getting a lot of flip-flopping on this date for the mid-year budget review. Like you said, the original date by government was 25th. The Speaker of Parliament raised significant concerns. He said that Parliament is expected to rise next week, and so if the mid-year budget review is not presented closer, it will mean that there will be little time for MPs to scrutinize. Because of that, they moved it from Thursday to Tuesday, but today we understand that it has been moved back to Tuesday, and that tomorrow the finance minister is expected in the House. Our understanding is that the Speaker of Parliament has prevailed in the argument that if you move this presentation to Thursday, it will mean that Parliament has just a week between the presentation and the day they are expected to go on break to review it. And in case there are new financial measures, it will take a little bit more time to be able to deal with all that. And because of that, government has acceded to the request of the Speaker of Parliament to bring the presentation to Tuesday, and then some of these final touches will not be done. So we expect the minister to come in tomorrow.
Well, thank you. Kweku Asante is our parliamentary correspondent. And on what to expect tomorrow, economist Professor Godfrey Bopping is calling for a review of recently introduced taxes.
The important thing we need to ask ourselves is whether the growth that the IMF program has envisaged is growth that we can celebrate, is growth that we can associate with, is growth that is broad-based, that can rope in moderate and low-income earners, is growth that will come along with job creation. You don't see that in the program. And I think that is where the concern is. Growth is only sustainable if it's job-rich. You see that countries have moved beyond just celebrating GDP growth. And if you look at the program, the focus is more on GDP growth. Then you also want to look at the corporate income tax. Okay. So if you look at the totality of the tax handles bundled together under the IMF-supported program, it will just burden the faithful few. And there's no way the country can engineer inclusive and sustainable growth from that.
That's economist Professor Godfrey Popping. And on the front, the energy front, ASAP wants clarity on what changes will be made to the Gold for Oil program. Here's its executive director, Ben Boache.
We've seen some companies giving licenses to buy gold for, Bank of Ghana. There's so much lack of transparency around that. We want to see some policy actions on that. There's commitment to the IMF for a review of the program. No details are out actually at this point, but we're hoping that the budget review, would actually give us clarity and detail on how we go from here.
That's ASAP's Executive Director, Ben Boache. You're listening to the Midday News here on Joy 99.7 FM, brought to you by Duraplast Ghana Limited. And still to come, farmers in the Kare and Gorogo communities in the Talensi district of the Upper East region are calling on government to haul contractors back to fix their one village, one dam.
You will not even recognize the site as a dam. I planted in the first year and the water dried up, so my plants died.
Imagine say water wake up at dawn, no chop, where it vanish for your area for 2 weeks. You not get one drop safe inside your tank.
Hey.
Hajia, our life was in dangerous. Only our neighbor get water with water tank.
Water tank?
Yes, water tank. Mamma mia, that water tank get meter for checking water level. That water tank be fine past Kumasi Selenium. That water tank be tough like Ghana Army. That water tank, they carry water pepe, so say some no go left inside the supply tank. What a tank! As my boss, Mr. Poncho, go talk.
Beautiful, durable, with water level indicator and accurate volume of water. Water tank. What a tank! By Duraplast.
This is the Midday News with me, Bernice, Abu-Baidoo, Lansah. It's now time for sports. Mubarak is here.
Thank you very much, Bernice. So it is former Ghana captain Stephen Appiah who is pleading with Ghanaians and the Ghana Football Association to be patient with Black Stars coach Chris Hughton. The 64-year-old has come under immense pressure from members of the GFA who have expressed their dissatisfaction with the performance since he took over the senior national team. Instead of the blame, Appiah wants investment into the technical team to achieve a desired result.
Today, the football that we are all seeing is not about what we see on the pitch. The force is about the people who are on the bench, the technical staff. That's why today you will see that Chelsea, Man City, they are even more than the team itself. You have a particular person who is focusing on Messi. You have a particular person who is trying to look at the goalkeeper. But I don't think that we have the...
So our technical team is deficient.
At the end of the day, all this thing is money. Do we have the money to do that? No.
Now, quickly, Al Hilal have made a world record £259 million bid for PSG forward Kylian Mbappe. He has not made his intention to move, but PSG are willing to sell him. Back to you, Bernice.
Well, it'll be interesting to see what happens in the coming days. Well, farmers in the Kare and Gorogo communities of the Talensi district of the Upper East region are calling on government to haul contractors back to fix their one village, one dam. Jojo Kobna has more in our latest hotline documentary, Thirsty Dams.
We are not happy. We can't farm. Our land is just bare. We would have been farming during Christmas. You must repair the dam for us. We had no idea the dam would be constructed like this. We thought they would do a good job. We farm on this land we gave away for the dam. And we're excited because we hope it will help us. They came here to help us by constructing the dam so that we can farm all year round and make money. But the dam dries up so fast, you will not even recognize the site as a dam. I planted in the first year and the water dried up, so my plants died.
The farmers say they will not count it as a loss if the government brings back contractors to reconstruct the dam. Some pledged to support the government to clinch to power if the dams are properly constructed.
I pray the contractor comes back to the site to construct it the way we want. If our dams are well constructed, we will support you always. We are waiting for the rain before we plant. Without rain, we can't plant. Where is the water that we will use to farm during the dry season?
This part of the story is called Waiting for Rain. The One Village, One Dam policy was meant to put an end to rain-fed agriculture. The government hoped that, just as people in Burkina Faso farmed all year round and even exported tomatoes to Ghana, people in the northern region would be able to do the same. Unfortunately, the people of Gorogo farm only during the rainy season. It is the main reason why the assemblyman for Gorogo, Roland Basama, is refusing to call the project a dam, and his reason is...
Actually, we don't call this one a dam. This is a dugout.
You heard excerpts of our latest Hotline documentary, Thirsty Dams, produced by Jojo Kobina. And before we go, amidst a dazzling display of talent and excitement that spanned over 12 weeks, Tragan claimed title as winner of Joy Prime's maiden Cues and Lyrics music show. Her remarkable prowess and artistry outshone all other contenders, leading to a resounding victory. Here are excerpts of the grand finale, which happened on Saturday.
What do you do when you can't let go? A journey of 1,000 miles starts with one step.
The journey of Tragan to stardom began when she entered the competition.
Won't you stay with me? You think I'll leave you down when you're down on your knees?
The world is waiting for somebody like you.
Thank you. Tragan, whose full name is Tracy Theodora Nana Ifua Ekuban Hagan, was born on 21st August 1998 and has always been recognized for her energy and spirited nature.
My mama used to tell me, girl, it ain't that cool.
After an intense 12-week competition filled with glitz and glamour, Tragan showcased remarkable prowess and artistry, earning her a well-deserved spot among the 4 finalists in the debut edition of Joy Prime's Cues and Lyrics music show. With unique stagecraft, Tragan soared above the 4 contestants and emerged as the ultimate winner.
To be very honest with you, this is one of the best written songs I've ever heard.
And your winner for the maiden edition of Cues and Lyrics, Tragan!
And that's how we end this edition of the Midday News, brought to you by Duraplus Ghana Limited, producers of quality PVC pipes and water tank. Where Duraplus goes, water flows. Our top story: former Sanitation Minister Cecilia Dapa arrested by the Special Prosecutor's Office as it begins investigations into monies that were allegedly stolen in her home. There's more news when you log on to myjoyonline.com, including Akufo-Addo has stacked the cards for a Bawumia coronation at the MPP primaries. That's according to Martin Amidu. Really appreciate your company. Do stay with us. Up next is a Living Word with Pastor Mensa Otabel. I'm Bernice Abu-Baidoo Lansah. Good afternoon.